Hi, this is Gauser Ahmad, your cooking mama, and I'm making my first video. Today I am cooking okra, sauteed okra with tomatoes and onions, also known as pindi. So first I start out by adding 1/4 cup of olive oil. I let that heat up slightly, and then I'm going to add some whole cumin seeds as well as some red chilies, dry red chilies, which you can see there. So I kind of break apart the chilies to let the seeds come out, kind of enhances the flavors, and then I just let it saute in the oil just a little bit. Not too long, you don't want the peppers to turn black. It gets kind of smoky then. I'm adding the onions. I love the sound that it makes. So I just saute my onions slightly, not necessarily till they get golden, but just so they get slightly wilted, I suppose you could say. Now, as soon as that's done, I'm going to add the rest of my spices. I have some cayenne pepper powder. I have turmeric, about 1 spoon of cumin, 1/3 of a spoon of turmeric, and about 1/2 a spoon of the cayenne pepper powder. I just kind of browned the spices slightly. And now I'm going to add 1 chopped Roma tomato. I chopped up all my veggies beforehand. I chopped up 2 small onions, the tomato, and about 1.5 pounds of fresh okra. You can also use 2 bags of frozen okra. I believe they come in 16-ounce size bags. So I'm going to let the tomatoes and the spices kind of cook. The heat's at about a medium-high, and when I feel like the tomatoes have kind of cooked a little bit more, at that time then I add the okra, the mixture. As you can see, I'm stirring, and as I stir, I kind of scrape the bottom of the pan to make sure that it doesn't get burned or start sticking to the bottom. Some people like to use non-stick cookware. I actually do most of my cooking in stainless steel, and I have to be pretty careful about the heat, as well as just kind of checking to make sure that the food doesn't stick to the bottom. But I just like using stainless steel. I feel there's always something coming out about how certain products are no longer safe or cause cancer, and I don't think that's happened with stainless steel thus far. So I'm just stirring it. I've raised the heat to a pretty high temperature. Okra has kind of this gooey texture in the center, and I cook it at a pretty high heat without the lid on for a few minutes, just to kind of get that out. Now, as soon as I feel like most of the gooiness is gone, I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes more. I'm just stirring away, scraping the bottom as I go. The temperature is still pretty high, so I have to be kind of careful. Now that I've lowered the temperature, I don't have to worry so much, and I will just let it cook for the next 10-15 minutes. So in the meantime, I can tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a mother of 4, and I'm married, and I'm a housewife, and I like to cook. And my family likes to eat. We like food. So it's about 10 minutes later. There was a little bit of a time lapse, and I'm just kind of stirring it. It did kind of stick a little bit on the bottom, but not too badly. Now it's usually at this point that I add salt to my food. It's mostly cooked, and I measured about 1 spoon of salt. I'm just stirring it a little bit more to get all the salt mixed in. And because the okra is cooked now, I'm very careful to stir gently so that the seeds don't really come out too much from the pods. They kind of have already, but I don't want to like break apart the pieces of okra. Now I'm just letting it settle for a few minutes. I've turned off the stove. My okra is done. Sometimes things get so busy I just serve in my pots, and that's basically what we eat out of, but today I have some time so I can take it out in a nice serving dish. Also, I actually like to cook my okra a little bit less. Some people like their vegetables kind of on the mushier side. I like mine to be slightly crisp. So if you want to keep them softer, then you can cook the okra for a little bit longer. I would say the maximum amount of time that you should cook it is 20 minutes, not more than that. But any time between 10 and 20 minutes is enough for the okra to cook. And there you have it. One of my favorite dishes. In Pakistan we say bhindi ki sabzi, and in the United States I would say a sautéed okra with tomatoes.
आजा आजा जिंद शामी आने के तले आजा जरी वाले नीले आसमां